Whether you're here in the sanctuary or you are watching from at home or in our library, it's wonderful for all of us to be together. As we prepare for worship this autumn equinox, I share these words by Sarah Getty McNeil to help center our minds and our hearts today for worship. Come in from the crisp morning air outside. Come in wearing the autumn sunlight on your face. Come carrying the turning of the seasons in your heart. Let us all worship this morning together.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, a vibrant liberal religious home for all ages. Welcome to our shared journey of the Spirit. My name is Katie O'Keefe, your worship associate today. Here at the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, we believe in supporting each person's individual spiritual journey while working together to build a loving, just, sustainable, beloved community among us and in the wider world. Whoever you are and whatever spiritual journey led you here to us today, you are welcome here. I especially want to take a moment to welcome any newcomers and returning members who are here with us today. We're so glad to have you with us. If this is your first visit, I invite you to fill out a visitor card after the service to help us get to know you and to help you get connected with our community. We are a community of diverse ages and needs, but we all worship together. There are many different ways you can join us on Sunday mornings, and we invite you and your family to choose the option that works best for you. Everyone, of course, is welcome to worship with us right here in our sanctuary, but that's not the only space where you can enjoy the service. You can also join us through our live stream from the comfort of your own home or from our library. Our library has a large television and is an especially comfortable space to enjoy the service if you or a loved one need a space where you can stretch your legs or have a conversation during the service. However, please keep the library a food-free space for the safety of those among us with food allergies. We are a vibrant and active community with many opportunities for you to get involved. You can learn about some of these activities on the back of your order of service or in our weekly e-newsletter, which is also available on our website. This morning, I would like to highlight just a couple of things. On Sunday, October 6th, we will hold a child dedication ceremony. If you're a member of our fellowship and have a young child who hasn't yet been dedicated, you're invited to participate. Today, after our service, there will be a special presentation about our efforts to go solar here at Morristown UU and how we can help our congregation live into our eco-friendly values. Again, you can learn more about these activities and many more in our weekly e-newsletter or on our website at muuf.org or on the back of your order of service. Finally, please join us for our coffee hour after the service in the terrace room. Once again, welcome. Now it is time for us to light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. Would a volunteer be willing to come forward and light our chalice flame? Maybe one of our children. Reverend Sasha will help you if you need it. Thank you. Please rise now as you're able for our chalice lighting words, which are on your screen. Let's say them together as our chalice is lit. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now, please remain standing for our opening hymn. Our opening hymn today is number 73 in your gray hymnal, Chant for the Seasons. We will sing the first verse only.
Summertime has turned us on. morning, everyone. I'm going to tell a little story here. Usually I call the kids up, but I know that we all are starting to get our first round of back-to-school germs, so maybe we'll stay where we're at. All right? Sounds good? Can anyone tell me what today is? Any of the kids? You know what today is? Were you paying attention when Reverend Sasha was talking before? Anyone? You guys? Yeah? It's the first day of fall. We just sung a song about it. Very good. It's called the Autumn Equinox. It's a special time of day and night where day and night are perfectly balanced, right? So there's 12 hours a day and 12 hours of night. And some people consider the autumn equinox to be the first day of fall. And so today is also special because it marks the change of the seasons. That's what we just talked about. It's a time where we can think about the changes happening in our lives. And this morning I want to tell you guys a story. Can I tell you guys a story about some changes? Can we do that? Sounds good. Good, I'm going to do it anyway. My daughter is shocked that I'm going to tell a story during this. It's very funny. This comes from Reverend Caitlin Cotter Kohlberg from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Silver Spring, and it's about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Seems appropriate. The story goes like this. I don't know that it happened this way, but I do know that it's true. That long ago and far away, and more likely recently, and quite nearby, and high up in the mountains on a black cherry tree, an egg was laid on a leaf. And in the light of the full moon, out of that egg hatched a little brownish caterpillar with a white marking that would look to any bird that might chance by as perhaps some bird droppings. That's poop. I got you guys. The caterpillar's name was Homer, and Homer looked around in surprise and wonder to find himself alive in the world. Homer, better eat your egg casing, little friend, said a black and spiky caterpillar nearby. And Homer did just that. He ate his casing. This is like shell, his eggshell. You guys got that? Okay. Good. And then he turned and looked at his new friend, and his friend said, "Welcome to the world." And his friend's name was Alex. So we got Homer and Alex, our two caterpillars. "It's delicious. Here, try some leaf," said Alex. And together the two caterpillars munched on the leaves that spring, through rain and sun and sunrises and sunsets. They laughed together at the antics of the baby birds and hid together under the leaves that the black spiky caterpillar had collected so the parent birds could not catch them. And Alex taught Homer all he needed to know about life on a leaf, how to stay safe, how to munch, and how to enjoy the feeling of the wind stirring in the tree and the sun slowly warming the mountains each morning. And together they gazed each night up at the beautiful moon. But one day, the black spiky caterpillar started doing something totally different and new. "What are you doing?" asked Homer, as Alex carefully put down silk on the underside of a twig in the newest collection of leaves and began hanging upside down. "Making a chrysalis," said Alex. You guys ever heard of a chrysalis over here? Anyone? Okay, good. "A what? Well, you'll see. And over the next couple of days, in the shelter of the leaves, the spiky black caterpillar shifted and shed its skin and became a large, lumpy brown thing hanging there, not making any conversation. What could this mean? For a week, Homer munched quietly by himself, watching the strange brown thing that used to be his friend, wondering and worrying if the strange lumpy brown thing shifted in color and size and pattern. Then one day, out of the strange lumpy brown chrysalis pushed an even stranger new creature. What do you guys think it was? Butterfly. Butterfly, very good. I was going to give you a conversation about hand raising, but that's all right. Homer watched as the new creature pumped blood into its black and white and bright orange wings and unfurled a strange new mouth. "What?" cried Homer. "Who?" And the new creature turned to look at him, Oh, little friend, it's still me, Alex, the one you laughed and hid and munched leaves with and watched the moon with. But now I'm a butterfly. I'm an admiral butterfly, to be specific, Alex said proudly. But you changed, said Homer. You were as constant as the moon, but now you've changed. Can I ask you guys a question? I know their answer. Do you guys like when things change? No, right? I know how it goes in my house. But you changed. Alex smiled gently. Oh, friend, they said, we're supposed to change. Why, even the moon is different night to night. Sometimes we can see all of it, and sometimes only a sliver, and sometimes we can't see it at all. But I don't want to change, lamented Homer, scared and sad. Do you guys sometimes get scared and sad when things are different? Yeah? Yes. But I don't want to change, lamented Homer, scared and sad. Change is part of who we are, said the butterfly, who was Alex. And now our friendship must change too. I must fly away in search of flowers and other butterflies. And eventually I will fly south to stay warm for the winter. And you must continue to eat and grow and stay safe from the birds. But you will change too. Just remember, you are loved. And whatever your body does, you are a beautiful friend. And I am glad to know you. And with that, Alex took to the sky. All that summer, Homer, the brown little caterpillar, ate and grew and hid and watched the moon, which he did indeed look a little different every night. Maybe Homer was onto something, or Alex was onto something. Homer became a bigger brown caterpillar, with his white splotch turned into two little eye shapes. And so he looked like a fearsome little snake. And no birds would eat him. And day to day, the seasons moved towards autumn. And finally, Homer found his safe spot to hang upside down and shifted into a chrysalis. This was scary, but Homer remembered his friend and was brave. In the spring, Homer felt himself stir, felt his new body shift once again, and wiggled free to find himself with a new mouth and different shape and wings. Wings that were yellow and black and blue and orange and glorious. Oh my, said Homer, the Appalachian tiger swallowtail, gazing at himself in wonder and delight. And then he took off into the sky, up towards the bright moon, bold as a bird, up the broad sweep of Spruce Knob. The end. Thank you for listening to this story. Whenever we remember this tale in the future, the story of Alex and Homer, let's also remember to welcome the changes that come with any new season in our lives.
Now it's time for our milestones and passages, but right before we do this, we have an announcement, and we also have, are there any others who have not yet come forward? We didn't have any online this week. Ooh. So before we get into the milestones, I have an announcement to make about a little bit of a correction. You will see on our screen outside that it says that the Women's Spirituality Group is in room 206. It is not. It is actually in my office in the parlor. All right, so sometimes we come to this sacred place with a whole lot on our hearts. Perhaps you recently welcomed a new baby or lost a loved one. Perhaps you got a new job or you have a health concern. And whatever the joy, sorrow, or concern, you can share it in our service by filling out one of our milestones and passages forms on muff.org/passages before 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. And you can also fill out one of our milestones or gratitude cards before the service. And this morning we have just one milestone to share. This is from Sherry Lowe, who shares that it is her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Sherry. And now let's go ahead and just take a quiet moment together for the prayers and meditations of your own hearts. Go ahead and close your eyes if that's something that you would like to do. Let yourself settle into your chair. Take a few moments now to focus on your breathing, letting that air move in and out of your chest, letting yourself hear the breathing of the people around you, the breaths of this community that holds you, that holds all. Feel the spirit of life holding us in this still moment. Let's go ahead and take 3 slow breaths in and out together, and then a moment of silence. Amen and blessed be. Now let's go ahead and please remain seated as we sing together number 1009 in your teal hymnal, Meditation on Breathing. And I think Michael has some instructions for us.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. This is an awesome round. Tim's going to help us out, too. If your birthday is from January to April, you're going to start with that first drone. Breathe in, breathe out. And then if your birthday is from May to August, you're going to start with the melody. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. That's right. Good. And then September to December, you're going to start with the descant. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. And then after that, you can pick whichever line you want. Just keep switching it each time. And we have a full minute. It will all line up, I promise. Even if you... I'll do it once through, and then we'll start with the drone.
Our reading this morning is by the poet Mary Oliver. Don't you imagine the leaves dream now how comfortable it will be to touch the earth instead of the nothingness of air and the endless freshets of wind? And don't you think the trees, especially those with mossy hollows, are beginning to look for the birds that will come, 6, a dozen, to sleep inside their bodies? And don't you hear the goldenrod whispering goodbye, the everlasting being crowned with the first tuppets of snow? The pond stiffens, and the white field over which the fox runs so quickly brings out its long, blue shadows. The wind wags its many tails, and in the evening, the piled firewood shifts a little, longing to be on its way. This is the time in our service each Sunday where we pause to offer our gifts of financial support to the congregation. Your donation, large or small, makes a big difference, making possible all that we do here together. It also helps to make our world a better place. That's because each Sunday we give half of the money we collect to an organization that is doing good work in the world to advance our Unitarian Universalist values of love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Today's offering will be shared 50-50 with Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, committed to expanding the power and capacity of Black UUs within Unitarian Universalism. You may give in our collection plate or by following the instructions printed in your order of service and shown on the screen. Thank you in advance for your generosity. Will the ushers please come forward to receive our gifts?
So as you know already, today is the autumn equinox, and choir has a great song prepared, and Tim's going to help us out again. It is a Japanese song, momiji, which means Japanese maple. It's the autumn leaves, and I'm so glad I spoke to Paul Firm before the service, and he had told me he had been there, and I learned a little more about it. This is a tune, and it's a choral arrangement, but they called it leaf peeking, just like we do here, seeing when the leaves change. And it literally translates as Japanese maple, but it is about the autumn leaves changing, and of course the metaphor for the changes we go through. And I will read first, I'll read it once through for you, the English. Autumn leaves are falling as the sun is going down. Beautiful sights are calling, colors of yellow, red, and brown. Floating on the river like a woven tapestry, gifts from the trees descending, treasures for all to see.
Thank you, choir, for your music, and thank you all for your generosity. So it's here again, my friends, that favorite time of the year, at least for me, that magical change from the summertime to the fall. And outside my apartment, the sidewalk is starting to get sprinkled with the very first fallen leaves. And every so often, the cooling breezes grab a couple of them and make them dance in the air. And my kittens are having a blast watching the leaves tumble on by our second-story window. Pumpkin spice lattes, that basic autumn delight, are back, along with other delicious flavors of the season like cider and maple and cinnamon. And it isn't cold yet, but the mornings are getting cooler. I've even started wearing long sleeves now and then as crisper weather approaches. And pretty soon it's going to be time for some fuzzy socks and cozy blankets. Although autumn always arrives late in the year, to me it feels like a fresh start. It's like something Proust once said, a change in the weather is sufficient to renew the world and ourselves. Every change in the aspect of nature offers us a similar transformation by adapting our desires so as to harmonize with the new form of things. And in simpler terms, the changing seasons don't just transform the world around us, they also invite us to welcome seasonal changes into our own lives. This autumn, there are 3 changes that you might notice happening in the world around us. First, the trees are changing colors. Many are still bright green right now, but some are already beginning to turn red and yellow, orange and brown, and soon they will all change colors. And it can look like springtime has returned, only instead of trees filled with colorful flowers, we'll be surrounded by trees filled with bright, brilliant leaves. And second, today on the autumn equinox, the day and the night are perfectly balanced. Yesterday, the daytime was just a little longer than the nighttime, and tomorrow, the nighttime will be just a little longer than the daytime, but today, they are equally long and perfectly balanced. And third, our seasonal change is that the leaves are beginning to fall from the trees. Of course, most of the trees are still crowned in green glory right now and will be for a few more weeks, but every day I'm noticing just a few more fallen leaves. They're beginning to form golden heaps along the gutters and sidewalks, and soon all of the trees will be bare. As all of these changes unfold in the world around us, there are 3 changes that we can welcome into our own lives. First, as the leaves change, turning red and gold and orange and yellow, we too can reveal our true colors. We can share our truest, most authentic selves with the world. And second, as the day and the night find their harmony, we too can strive for balance. We can find ways to ground and to center ourselves, seeking equilibrium in our lives. And third, as the leaves begin to fall from the trees, we too can practice letting go. We can release what no longer serves us, making space for the things that are the most important to us. And again, those 3 seasonal changes that we can invite into our lives this autumn are authenticity, balance, and letting go. And so let's take a closer look at that first one, authenticity. We've probably all heard the metaphor, show your true colors before, and sometimes it's used negatively, right? Like someone we thought was trustworthy turned out to show their true colors as somebody who ended up betraying us. But showing our true colors also means revealing our truest and deepest self, whatever that is. When the leaves change colors in the fall, that's exactly what they are doing. They are revealing their true colors. You see, leaves actually have all the brilliant colors that we see in the autumn inside them all year round. Their true color might be purple or red or yellow, but those colors are hidden by something called chlorophyll. And in the spring and summer, when there is lots of sunlight, the leaves need to be able to turn that light into food. And so the chlorophyll in the leaves lets them do that. But because it is green, it makes the leaves look green too. It hides the leaves' true colors. But then during autumn, the trees need to get ready to survive the coming cold and dark winter months. And one way they do this is by getting rid of their leaves. To get rid of the leaves, they stop making that chlorophyll. And without the green chlorophyll there, the leaves' true colors can finally be seen. And in the same way, when we let go of things that hide our true selves, we can reveal our authentic, beautiful colors to the world. Too often we hide who we really are. Deep within us lies something real and beautiful. Our true personality, dreams, talents, and values. Our true self, if you will. But as we go through life, these things can sometimes get covered up, like a leaf's bright colors are hidden under green chlorophyll because of the necessities of life. So imagine that you are a bold, audacious orange leaf, but all around you are prim and proper green leaves. And sometimes you can't seem to fit in with those around you. You feel like you're just too much. You're too bright, you're too loud. So you try to pretend to be a green leaf. You try so hard, maybe you even start to look kind of green. You fool yourself into thinking and acting like a green leaf, thinking that if you act like a green leaf, you will be better, that that is the best way to live, and that being orange is perhaps the wrong way to be. And yet, it doesn't feel quite right. Deep down inside of you, something feels off. It can be tiring to try to hide who you really are all the time and to be someone else. There's this cognitive dissonance that happens when you try, and you long for something more real. You long for a life that is more in alignment with who you truly are. Well, my friends, autumn is here now, and it's a perfect time for new beginnings. And those rustling leaves around us are inviting us to join them in showing our true colors. So let those beautiful hidden parts of yourself shine during this season. And now let's pause. Let's rise and body your spirit to sing our first verse of our hymn, Lady of the Season's Laughter. It's number 51 in your gray hymnal. And again, we're singing just the first verse right now.
Lady of the season's laughter, in the summer's warmth be near. When the winter follows after, teach our spirits not to fear. Hold us in your steady mercy, Lady of the turning year.
There's something comforting about knowing that there are cycles to the seasons. Our ancestors especially must have found hope in knowing that after the long, cold winter, spring would come again. And even today, it can be comforting to know, to be able to trust that the day will always follow the night. One of the most beautiful things about the cyclical nature of the seasons is that they offer balance. That second thing that I said earlier that we can welcome into our lives this autumn. In our balanced world, there are bright sunny days and dark starlit nights. There are cold, snowy months and warm green ones. There are times to plant seeds and times to enjoy the abundance of the harvest. All of these different, seemingly opposing times balance out to make a whole year. And as the wheel of the year turns, there are times when nature's balance stands out to us all the more clearly, like during the spring and the autumn equinoxes. And today, at precisely 8:44 this morning, for all of us living here in the Northern Hemisphere, something special happened. The day and the night were exactly the same length. And this happens because of the way our planet Earth tilts on her axis as she rotates around our sun. To our ancestors, this special moment, which only happens twice a year, probably felt like magic. And even though we know the science behind it today, it kind of feels magical, doesn't it? Today's perfect balance of day and night invites us to find balance in our own lives. Finding balance can be a challenge in our fast-paced modern world, where countless external demands constantly vie for our time and our attention. And our own competing personal priorities can make it even harder to find that sweet spot where we feel grounded, centered, and balanced. This isn't to say that the many things vying for our time and attention lack importance, right? Each holds its own special significance, whether it's schoolwork, housework, the work that pays the bills, the joys and challenges of parenting, the work of caregiving, or even the pursuit of hobbies and passion projects. It is all meaningful in its own way. After all, this is the stuff of our very lives. Each thing occupying our time is a source of the experiences that help shape who we are. They each play their own role in our growth and our fulfillment. It is important that we give them their due time and attention. But the challenge is figuring out how much time and attention to give each thing and how much to hold on to for other things in our lives. And no matter how passionate we are, no matter how hard or fast we are able to do things, there are only 24 hours available to us in each day, and we have to make choices, conscious choices about how we will divide up our time between all of those many things that matter to us. And each choice that we make has an opportunity cost associated with it, a thing that we lose when we make a choice to do something different. If you spend 2 hours of your spare time watching that movie you really want to see, that's 2 hours that you won't go to the park and play with your dogs or curl up on the couch with a good book or write that novel that you've been slowly hammering away at. So finding just the right balance with the time, energy, and resources available to us is tricky. If it were easy, we wouldn't need so many reminders for things like work-life balance. But autumn is a time when we are reminded of the importance of finding that balance for ourselves. There are many different kinds of balance that we might seek in our lives: a more balanced diet, a more balanced worldview, more balanced emotions, or more balanced time between work and play. When our lives are out of balance, it can feel like there's too much of one thing and not enough of another. Imagine trying to balance on one foot while leaning too far in one direction or the other. Some of you might know that I love figure skating. And as you can probably imagine, balance is pretty critical to my sport. Sometimes when I'm on the ice, I lose my balance, just like we do in our lives now and then. When I was first learning to skate backwards, I sometimes found myself leaning too far back. And that threw me off of my center of gravity, and I fell. But with practice, I learned to find my center of gravity and stay aligned over it. I found my balance. And we all have a center of gravity in our lives, a spot where we feel like everything is just stacked up just right for us to move through our lives with ease. This center isn't the same for everyone. For example, some people need more alone time, and others need more time around other people, even though we all need at least a little bit of each for us to feel balanced. And a balanced life looks different from person to person, but when we find it, feelings of being overwhelmed can turn into feelings of calm. Dissatisfaction turns into fulfillment, and disorientation turns into clarity. And speaking of clarity, clarity is an interesting thing when it comes to balance. Because you see, balance brings us clarity, but we also need clarity in order to find balance. This is because living a balanced life is all about having clarity about your own values and your own energy. Think about it. Think about what is important to you. If you don't know what is important to you, if you don't know what you love, what makes you happy, it can be hard to prioritize those things. And before you know it, you might find yourself devoting long hours to something that isn't very important to you while feeling unhappy because you are missing out on family time, hobbies, or just chilling out. You need balance, and for that, you need clarity about your own priorities in life. So this autumn equinox, when day and night are perfectly balanced, may you hear the invitation to find your own balance, too. Welcome the nighttime darkness for rest and dreaming, and the bright daylight activity time for activities and fun. And even though it might feel busy at this time of the year with school starting and those holidays creeping up on us, remember to slow down. Strive for the equilibrium offered during this time of when the day and the night hold hands, and there we can find our balance. Let's go ahead and pause once more for the next verse of our hymn, Lady of the Seasons, Laughter. Again, it's number 51, and we'll sing verse 2 this time. And please remain seated this time, actually.
Sister of the evening starlight, in the falling shadows stay, here among us till the twilight of tomorrow's coming day. Hold us in your steady mercy, Lady of the turning day.
One thing that I love about preaching on our monthly Soul Matters themes is all of the resources that the Soul Matters staff members make available to help inspire and inform service preparation. And one of the favorite resources that I have is the Spotify music playlist that's created for each of the monthly themes. And I don't know who my colleagues are that keep populating these things with so much great music, but bless them for what they are doing. And this month I had the joy of listening to a song by Carrie Newcomer with the beautiful line, "Leaves don't drop, they just let go and make a space for seeds to grow." Yeah. I used to think that once trees lost their leaves, they're basically dead. Maybe it's because I grew up in the desert of Phoenix, Arizona, where snow isn't really a thing, but I kind of thought that the world pretty much becomes barren and lifeless during the winter months of the year. And I don't really know entirely why I thought that, since the fact that the trees survive the winter and bud again in the spring strongly suggests that they do not, in fact, at any point actually die. But it was an idea that somehow got stuck in my head for a long time, maybe because snow looks so sterile. My mind was filled with images of a desolate winter world, smothered in frozen white, with gaunt trees stretching these bare branches up toward gray skies. But what I learned more recently is that not only are trees quite alive during the winter, but also their leafless branches are actually signs of life's resilience. You see, it turns out that by shedding their leaves, trees are able to protect themselves. Without leaves, it's harder for heavy snow and ice to pile up and snap their branches during the windy winter storms. And losing their leaves also helps trees conserve their water and their energy over the long winter months. In other words, trees let go of their leaves in early autumn so that they can use their energy for more important things. And we are invited during this season to do likewise. A few minutes ago, I talked about how autumn invites us to welcome authenticity and balance into our lives. But here's the thing. Just like leaves show their true colors when they let go of chlorophyll, we too have to let go of some of the things if we are going to have authenticity and balance in our lives. An authentic life requires letting go of things that don't align with who we truly are. And a balanced life requires letting go of things that we value less in order to make space for the things that we value more. Like I said before, letting go of things, whether we do it to find more balance in our lives or to be more true to ourselves, requires us to embrace some loss. As I said before, there's an opportunity cost that comes into play when we relinquish one thing in order to gain another thing. But the things that we gain when we let go are worth it. When we let something go, we create space that new things can fill, things we care about even more than the things we let go of. And when we withdraw our energy from something, we can redirect it toward something that's more valuable to us. It's like letting go of a fistful of gravel so that you can pick up a beautiful gem. Sure, you have to empty your hands first, but you gain more than you lose. When we free ourselves from one thing, it frees us for something else. Letting go, then, is a way of taking hold of something new. And there are many things that we may need to let go of this autumn. Perhaps there is a toxic relationship in your life that's sucking you dry, just draining away your energy and happiness like some kind of vampire. Let it go. It may be difficult, but moving on can create space in your life for healthier, more fulfilling connections with other people. So let that bad relationship go. Or maybe you've been holding on to a self-limiting belief that's been an obstacle to your growth and potential for far too long. Let it go. Whether it's a fear of failure or a belief that you don't deserve happiness or that scary, scary thing, imposter syndrome. Your life will be better if you can release these. And if you need to work with a therapist to help you do it, I encourage you to find one so that you can shed those burdens and move beyond them to find all of the rich opportunities that are possible for you in your life. Letting go, finding balance, and cultivating authenticity don't just make our lives better. They can also help make our world a better place. When we live a more balanced life, our bodies and our minds benefit. We are healthier and less stressed. When our cups are full and our energies align with our deepest values, we are able to give more to the world and make a positive difference in our communities. A balanced life also helps us to be more resilient, which is essential if we are to do that long-haul work of social justice. And when we live more authentic lives and we welcome others' authentic selves, we are able to build greater understanding and respect across difference. We connect more deeply. We show up more fully for the things that we care about, helping create meaningful change in a world that deeply needs our willing hands and hearts. And when we let go of things like, say, grudges and selfishness, it becomes possible to resolve conflicts, even long-standing conflicts, and create greater peace in the world. Or when we let go of some of our more materialistic desires, that addiction to things like fossil fuel, perhaps, we are able to live more sustainably on this planet. And most importantly, when we let go of things that do not benefit us or others, we can take into our open hands the work of healing the world. My friends, autumn is a time of pruning and harvesting. As the season turns, what can we prune away to make space for the things that most need our time and our attention in our lives right now? What harvests await us when we let our energy flow to the very best fruits of our lives? This fall, may we find some time to contemplate those things. May we find ways to practice the art of letting go. May we each discover and show our true colors. May we find balance. May we dance through our lives like golden leaves on an autumn breeze. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so. Let's go ahead and rise one more time and sing verses 3 and 4 now of our hymn, Lady of the Seasons' Laughter. Please be seated. It's time now for us to bring our time of worship to a close, but as we extinguish this chalice flame, its light will continue to burn in our hearts. As we go out into our daily lives, I leave you with the words of Emily Richards. May you leave this time together changed. May the promises you have made to yourself about who you want to be feel closer to the reality of who you are right now. May you share that feeling of transformation wherever you go. May it spread into every word, deed, thought, and interaction until we are all changed, transformed and transforming together, becoming our better selves. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.
Amen.